Welcome to Life Rewritten. I'm your host, Vanessa Lagoa. On this show, we explore life, we talk about different decisions, challenges, and opportunities that shape our lives. Today, we are joined again. We have the privilege of having Christopher Nudo with us today. Christopher is an accomplished attorney who has been practicing law since 1993, and he really primarily focuses on wills and trusts and family law, things that can help all of us shape our future. So, welcome back, Chris. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you, Vanessa.
So, Chris, I am grateful that you're back on the show, contributing again, because I think that you have so much value to bring to all of our guests. So, thank you. Can you give a little bit of a background into the type of law that you practice? And then we can dive a little bit deeper into how we can all use your expertise to help us shape our futures.
I would love to. So, the main part of our practice really deals with planning for people to pass their legacy to the next generation. Technically, it's estate planning. So we use tools such as wills and trusts, powers of attorney, living wills, things like that. Those type of documents, which really help a person when transitioning either through incapacity or death, moving their assets to the next generation. Then our practice really focuses then on the administration of those estates after people have passed away.
Excellent. So, why do you think that it's such a challenge for people to come to you in the first place? Or why is there this something that people fail to plan in their lives?
Well, I mean, I got to believe straight up it's fear.
Hmm.
So the first fear people have is just of outright dying. Many take the approach that if I don't think about it, it may not happen when they know intuitively it will. But, it's like, it's the same reason people don't buy life insurance. They're like, I'm going to jinx my life. If I buy life insurance, I'm going to die. Of course, we know that's not true. So how do we dispel the fear? And that really, I believe, comes in with regard to two factors. One being your faith being a very strong element in how you die and what happens when you die. And the second is really education with regard to estate planning, understanding why you plan and what the tools are and what the benefits are to your children when you plan correctly. If you can really tackle one or both of those issues, people would not fail to plan.
Right. Well, and we know that what did we say? Planning to, or failing to plan is planning to fail. And
That's
two
right.
things are true. We're going to pay taxes and we're going to die. We know these things. And so it seems like you're able to help people with the inevitable. I mean, there's no doubt that we will die at some point. We will have lives that we've built that we don't want to have people fighting over, or, you know, assets that are left behind. We don't want things to end up in probate court and have families have to go through even more of a struggle. So, when it's overwhelming and when this whole idea of planning, especially I would think for people who are maybe middle-aged, who have families, who own homes, maybe businesses, have children, it can be overwhelming. So where would you suggest that people begin with this planning if they feel a little bit behind?
So the first step is education, and you can get educated many different ways. Let's take the simplest form of education. That would be read a book or read material online. We all kind of joke about the fact that Google, in and of the amount of information that's out there, creates its own little school or university of its own. Now, I caution people that, of course, not everything written on the internet is true. So you want to make sure that you are state specific when you're doing your research. However, just simply reading is what I would say the simplest way of learning about estate planning. The most specific way to learn is hire a good lawyer. Go to their law firm. Most law firms will give away the first hour of time to educate clients on what would be best. The reason I like that approach is because typically a lawyer will tailor their education to your circumstances.
Right.
So the first step for people, again, is education. And whether you get it from a very custom viewpoint of a lawyer or you take a more broad viewpoint, which is go to the internet or read a book, both instances are going to help you get past the starting line.
Right. Well, and it's true because when you know something, when you're aware of something, you're able to then kind of say like, "Oh, this does apply to me." And if people are unaware, they can't plan.
That's
So,
right.
before we get going too far into this conversation, how can our viewers be educated by you? Where is there a place that you offer some educational materials or a website that they can come
Absolutely.
and
Yes.
would that be?
So first, it's our website, right? integritylaw.com. And I'm sure your viewers will get that information as we continue through this segment. Further, on our website, I did write a book, and it's called Estate Planning Without Fear. Speaking, Vanessa, right to the very topic that you're raising here, because I found long time ago that the people that wouldn't come see me didn't come see me because they were scared, and they're not going to admit that they're scared. But if I can design something that is not intimidating and I give it away so that people can get that education, it's a free download from our website. That is a great place. Also, for those people who don't like to read, and we know that that's a chunk of our video centric population, we have hundreds of videos on our website that deal with the education of estate planning. And so you can sit and watch from our YouTube channel for hours.
That is incredible that you're offering these free resources for people because it can be overwhelming and it can be a place where you're just not sure where to start. And I think when people are looking for an attorney to work with, because that's your first advice, find a great lawyer. Well, how do we find a great lawyer, right? Would be our first question. But if you're offering this free information, you're easing the minds of people. What a great way for them to trust you and to say, hey, this is the kind of guy that I want to work with. We have spoken before, but for our guests who may have missed our first episode, the name of your company is NTegrity Law, which
Integrity Law. Got it behind me here. We can
I just
show it
absolutely
off.
love. I
Thank you
just
so much.
really can't think that there could be any better title for a law practice. And, we'll get a little bit deeper into it in the next segment about how you integrate your faith into your business. But can you give us an example of maybe a family coming to you that was struggling with setting up their future planning and how you sort of help them navigate through that challenge, just to give our viewers an idea of how your services can work for them as well.
Absolutely. So here's the the couples that come to me that have the greatest amount of questions because, quite honestly, in their mind, the pieces don't quite fit together perfectly, is typically in a mixed marriage situation. Think Brady Bunch, showing my age. But anyway, you have a mom coming with three daughters. You have dad coming with three sons. They were originally from separate marriages. Now they're creating a family together. How is it that they can integrate a cohesive plan to build the relationships in this family together? And I have countless stories of these couples coming to me where we have to sit down, and the first step is really to identify what's important. And because the families are different, it's not really scripted for Hollywood the way the Brady Bunch was. the two families come with their own set of values and their own history. And so it's really my role to sit down with the husband and the wife and identify what are their common purposes together, other than themselves, of course, or they wouldn't have gotten married. And then take those common purposes and identify how I will protect the wife's three daughters and how I will protect the father's three sons, and have them both walk away knowing that they were both heard, and when they pass, their desires will be met.
And how, I mean, that's so crucial in today's world when you look at the blended families. I have a blended family myself, so I can see how, you know, it's that has its own challenges, and being able to navigate that, when we're long gone is something that would bring families a lot of ease. So
Yes.
we will be right back. We're going to continue this conversation. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about, some of the challenges that families face after a loved one is gone. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. We'll be right back with more stories of resilience and renewal. This is Life Rewritten on Now Media Television.